All right, so we're diving deep into McHenry real estate today,
Oh, yeah.
and we're going to be looking at how something like second mortgages can really impact things.
Interesting.
And to help us with that, we have insights from Michael Linton. He's got almost 4 decades of experience in McHenry real estate, especially with sellers.
Wow. Almost 4 decades.
You can find him at McHenryAgent.com.
Yeah, that's a long time to be in real estate.
He's seen it
You
all.
must have some stories.
So Linton points out that people in McHenry are using these second mortgages for all sorts of things. Home improvements, to consolidate debt, even to invest in more property, like those big life decisions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's all about equity.
Like they're tapping into like the hidden potential of their homes.
Yeah. And, McHenry homeowners seem to be um, pretty good at using equity to reach those financial goals, from what I'm hearing from Linton.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
McHenry has that mix of, those established neighborhoods and newer developments.
Right, right.
Speaking of which, Linton was telling us about how in the Fox Ridge subdivision, after a few people redid their homes using, you guessed it, second mortgages,
Yeah.
it started this like whole wave of home improvements.
Interesting. So like a domino effect.
Exactly. One person redoes their kitchen, and then their neighbor's like, well, now I need a deck. And pretty soon the whole neighborhood feels refreshed.
Makes the whole area more attractive.
And property values went up for everyone.
Oh, wow.
And Linton said it even gave a boost to local businesses like contractors and suppliers.
Oh, that's great. So it's a win-win.
Exactly.
That's really interesting how, interconnected a local market can be.
Right.
It actually relates to something else Linton talks about, how second mortgages can help keep the market stable, especially during those uncertain economic times.
Okay, now that is fascinating. Tell me more about that.
Okay, so imagine a homeowner in McHenry. They hit a rough patch. Maybe they lose their job or get hit with unexpected medical bills.
Right.
Now, instead of having to sell their home, maybe at a loss, a second mortgage could give them, a little breathing room.
I see. So instead of foreclosures dragging down property values for everyone, they can tap into their equity and stay put.
Exactly. Creates a more resilient market, which of course benefits everyone.
It all comes back around.
And, Linton also mentioned how second mortgages can actually help McHenry residents become buyers, not just homeowners.
Okay, now this is where it gets really interesting for any aspiring homeowners out there.
So picture this. You're in your starter home, maybe somewhere like the trails of Boone Creek. You've built up some equity.
Right.
And you're ready for something bigger, maybe in a different part of town.
Yeah.
But that down payment, it's daunting.
Especially in this market.
Oh, absolutely.
Seems like down payments keep getting bigger.
Right. But with a second mortgage on their current home, some McHenry residents are getting the flexibility to, finally make that move.
That's like unlocking a secret level of the McHenry market.
It really is. But, while all of this sounds great,
Yeah.
there are challenges with second mortgages. We got to look at those too.
Right, right. It's all about being informed.
Exactly.
So for those in McHenry thinking about a second mortgage, what should they watch out for?
Well, the big one is obviously, more debt.
Right, right.
Taking on any loan is a big decision. But with a second mortgage, you're adding to what you already owe on your house.
That makes sense. It's like you're walking a financial tightrope.
Yeah, and Linton really stresses how this could make selling your home later on harder.
Yeah.
Let's say you want to sell, but your first and second mortgages combined, it's actually more than what your home's worth because the market dipped.
Oh, that's not good.
And then there's the risk of foreclosure. If something happens and you can't keep up with those mortgage payments.
Yeah, that's why I like to get all the information first,
Absolutely.
It's not just about right now, it's about the future.
Exactly. That long-term thinking, especially with market volatility, McHenry, like everywhere, property values can go up and down.
For sure.
So if those values go down after you've gotten a second mortgage, you could be in a tricky situation, especially if you need to sell quickly.
Makes you think of that saying, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst.
Exactly. Linton gets it.
He seems like he really understands the McHenry market.
Oh, he does. And there's another thing that really shows that, the impact on future buyers.
Oh, interesting. You mean besides those buyers who might not want a property with 2 loans?
Right. See, Linton says that if there are lots of homes with second mortgages, it can actually make things more complex for everyone.
Oh, really? I never thought about it like that.
Yeah, it's subtle.
Okay.
So imagine you find that dream house. You're ready to make an offer, but the appraisal comes back lower than you expected.
Right.
Because similar homes in the area, those with second mortgages, have recently sold for less.
Oh, So even if I'm okay with the asking price, the lender might not be because on paper it looks like it's worth less.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And just like that, your straightforward purchase is more complicated. It's like this hidden dynamic.
It really makes you realize that real estate is about more than just, individual buyers and sellers. It's about the whole market.
It's about that interconnectedness. And you can tell Michael Linton really cares about helping people in McHenry figure all of this out.
It sounds like he's the guy to go to for anyone looking to make a smart decision in McHenry, especially when it comes to second mortgages.
Absolutely. He's all about making sure people have what they need to navigate the local market. He really knows his stuff, that's for sure.
Yeah.
And, speaking of knowing your stuff, Linton says it's so important to really get the McHenry market before jumping into a second mortgage.
Yeah.
It's more than just the numbers. It's about your long-term plan, too.
It's really easy to get caught up in the excitement of, like finally getting to renovate or going for that investment property.
Yeah,
But like Linton says, life happens, things change.
they do.
You don't want to be caught off guard.
Right? Like, that dream home in Lakemore seems doable now, but what if rates go up or you need to move sooner than you thought?
Exactly.
Linton's all about thinking those things through.
That long-term thinking is so important, especially with something as big as your house.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And here's where Linton's advice gets really interesting. He says second mortgages aren't the only way,
Oh, really?
He suggests McHenry homeowners look at HELOCs
Mm.
or cash-out refinancing, too.
Okay, so it's like having more tools.
Exactly. More options.
So for those of us who aren't, financial experts, what are the differences?
Basically, a HELOC, it's like a credit card, but you're using your home equity.
Oh, okay.
So you can use it for, like, ongoing expenses or those surprise home repairs that always come up.
Right, right.
Cash-out refinancing, on the other hand, that's like hitting reset on your mortgage.
Okay.
You get a new, bigger mortgage and bam, you've got cash, usually at a lower interest rate.
Oh, wow.
But they both have, pros and cons.
Yeah.
Depends on what you want and what the McHenry market's doing.
So you got to find what works for you.
Exactly. And that's where having those local experts, that's huge. And Linton really believes in that.
Yeah.
Whether it's a financial advisor who knows all about the different loans or a McHenry real estate agent who's been around.
It's about having someone you trust, especially in a market like McHenry, where things are affected by tourism, the Fox River, all of that.
Oh, for sure. It all plays a part.
Yeah.
And, thinking about those influences, Linton had some great advice for anyone in McHenry looking at second mortgages.
Oh, okay. Like what should people watch out for?
He really stressed looking closely at your finances right now.
Okay.
It's not just about making the payments today, but what about if rates go up or if something unexpected happens?
That financial cushion, right.
Exactly. Life in McHenry is great, but you never know.
Things happen.
And he said McHenry homeowners really need to pay attention to what the market's doing, especially property values.
Right, because your equity is tied to that.
Exactly. So if the market dips, your equity could too. And then refinancing or selling could get tricky.
Wow. So many moving parts.
It's about knowing that real estate has those ups and downs, and McHenry's no different.
You got to be prepared.
And that goes for understanding those loan terms too. Those interest rates on second mortgages, they can be all over the place, says Linton.
So shop around, right.
Absolutely. And don't be afraid to ask questions, even the ones that seem obvious.
You're taking out a loan, you have to understand it.
Exactly. The more you know, the better decision you can make.
You've got to advocate for yourself. Find the loan that fits your goals.
And speaking of goals, Linton had some really cool insights about how people in McHenry are using those second mortgages to make their dreams happen, those big upgrades that make a difference.
Now we're talking, give me the inside scoop.
So those McHenry homeowners, they're using these second mortgages to really upgrade their homes. It's impressive, Linton says.
Like what? Give me the details.
Well, imagine finally having that dream kitchen. Granite countertops, fancy appliances, the works.
Oh, yeah.
Linton's seen people make it happen. And it's not just about making it look nice.
Right.
These upgrades, they could really boost a home's value.
So it's an investment in your lifestyle and your property.
Exactly. Hitting two birds with one stone.
Yeah.
And it's not just kitchens. People are adding on master suites, finishing basements, even putting in pools.
Those McHenry summers by the pool, that sounds nice.
Right. Making those dreams a reality. That's what those second mortgages are doing.
Yeah, it's good to have that flexibility when you're talking about those big projects.
Absolutely. And, it's not all about these amazing homes, Linton says. Some people are using second mortgages to get into the rental market.
Oh, wow. So they're taking their equity and trying to, build more wealth.
You got it. McHenry's a popular place, the downtown, the lake. that small town feel.
Yeah, for sure.
People are always looking for rentals, short term, long term, you name it.
So I could see how that would be appealing, like buy a condo downtown, rent it out, make some extra cash.
Exactly. Litton's seen it happen, people using the McHenry market to their advantage.
I have to say, it's a lot to think about, All these possibilities, but then those downsides we talked about.
Yeah, it's a big decision for sure.
It really is.
Litton talks about this on his website, McHenryAgent.com. He always tells people, if you have any questions at all, even if you're just starting to think about your options, reach out.
He sounds like he really cares about helping people make the right choice, whether they end up buying or selling or what.
Oh, absolutely. He just wants people to have the knowledge to navigate that McHenry market.
Yeah.
And I think we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
We really have all those little things that affect the market, those incredible homes people are creating. It's been fascinating.
It has. And a big thank you to Michael Linton for sharing his insights with us.
Yes, thank you, Michael. And for our listeners, if you want to connect with Michael directly, his website is McHenryAgent.com. We'll link that in the show notes.
Great idea. And to everyone listening, keep exploring, keep learning about these topics, and we'll catch you in the next deep dive.
See you then.